Hey, what's up, family? It's your boy LaRon, and we back with another video. You see the thumbnail, you see what this video is about, but before we get into this video, I want to say what's up to my subscribers. Also, if you're new to this channel, welcome, and if you are new, please consider hitting subscribe and turn on notifications, because on this channel we do thought-provoking videos, a reaction video such as this one right here, and once a month I do a review on a black-owned product. So if you're into that kind of content, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, and please like and share this content. All right, let's get into it. We have a video from Joy Reid. I want to give a shout out to Joy Reid because Joy Reid is shedding some light on a situation that should have been publicized and shed more light onto it a long time ago, right? So if you follow my channel, you know my last video about Joy Reid was not too favorable in her favor because she had that spill out with Nicki Minaj, whatever. And I was like, all right, I didn't like that. But this one she doing right here, I like it. I got to give her props. Got to give her props, right? So Joy Reid is speaking about the Henrietta Lacks story. So Henrietta Lacks is a black woman who went in for cancer treatment. I think she had like cervical cancer, something like that. So she went in for cancer treatment. So then they found out her tissues and her cells like regenerate. So once they found out her tissues and cells regenerate, they kind of like took it and put it aside. And she shortly died after her diagnosis. But once she died, they kept using her cells because her cells were still alive. So they used her cells for vaccines. They use her cells for whatever you can think of, right? So it's vaccines. They use her cells for just medical treatment, everything. Like her cells always being used. And this hospital who found out about her cells been selling her cells to different hospitals and different practices so people could use her cells to advance their medicine. So Joy Reid is speaking about that, and Benjamin Crump, the attorney, is now suing the hospital who took the cells. So that's gonna be pretty interesting. So in this interview, they have her grandson. I can't think of his name right now. I'm sorry, sir. Say Mr. Lacks. They have a grandson. They have Benjamin Crump and Joy Reid on MSNBC. So I'm gonna play this clip for you. Then throughout the clip, I'll give you my reaction towards what's going on and information in the clip. Then I'll give you my full reaction about it. Then after that, we can have a conversation in the comments. All right, so let's get into it.
I want to tell you about Henrietta Lacks, or Henny, as her family called her. She was a mother of 5 and a grandmother to dozens. She loved to cook and dance, often with one of her kids. According to her family, she was a beautiful black woman full of style and grace and was the emotional touchstone for her family. In 1951, she was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cervical cancer. And this is where she changed the world. But here's the thing. She had no idea. That's because when Henrietta Lacks went to Johns Hopkins, the only hospital that would treat black patients, doctors took samples of her tissue without her knowledge or consent and sent them to a cancer researcher working at the hospital. That researcher discovered that unlike others, her cells had the rare ability to survive and regenerate. Those cells could essentially live forever, the first of its kind. And they took advantage of that with great success. Today, her cells have been used in almost every realm of scientific research, such as the polio and HPV vaccines and in vitro fertilization, and were even used to help research the COVID vaccines. Henrietta Lacks died shortly after her diagnosis, but her cells continued to be used. Scientists shared her private medical information with the press. They even shared her genome, your personal genetic code, with the public. This was all done without consulting her family. According to the Wall Street Journal, scientists today buy her cells for anywhere from $400 to thousands of dollars per vial. Yesterday, her estate filed a law.
Wow, that's crazy. That's how much they're going for per vial. So that little vial between $400 to thousands of dollars, and the family did not know about that. Ooh.
Suit against the biotech company Thermo Fisher Scientific, accusing it of profiteering off of Henrietta Lacks' cells. The company has not publicly responded to the suit. I'm joined now by Ben Crump, one of the family's attorneys, and Ron Lacks, Henrietta's grandson. And Mr. Lacks, thank you so much for being here. I just want to put up for the audience just some of the things that your grandmother's cells have helped to advance. Everything from the polio vaccines, as I...
Wow. So, as you can see, this whole list, this is some of the stuff that her cells helped out. So, like, the groundwork for the polio vaccine, drug development for HIV infection. What else we got here? Treatments for blood disorders. What? Look at that. In 1964, her cells help understand how space travel may impact astronauts in the future manned missions. Damn, and develop a cancer research method. Wow. Okay. Let's keep.
Mentioned understanding X-rays in the human cells, the Ebola and HIV vaccines. Trying to understand, the ineffectivity of Ebola and HIV, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When did your family find out that your grandmother was the source of all of those scientific miracles?
Thank you, Joy, for having me. It's a pleasure. Decades.
Yeah.
My mother was the one that found out and threw it by accident. She was having lunch with a friend of hers down the street. And the professor that was coming to lunch, her neighbor introduced her as Henrietta Lacks. And he told her, we're working with someone named Henrietta Lacks. And she told him, that's my mother-in-law. And that's how we found out.
You know, Ben, there's
Wow. So if she never went to that lunch, they would have never known that their family has been responsible for all this medical research. That's crazy.
Sense of the dehumanization of Black bodies and Black life here, where she, while a human being with a life, that's why we try to describe some of her life, was just treated as a product that could be bought and sold and disposed of at will by a company, this company, Thermo Fisher Scientific, and by Johns Hopkins.
All right. I want to ask y'all a question in the comments. Was that a stretch? You know what I'm saying? She said that, her body was bought and sold. It wasn't really, I don't know if it was bought and sold per se. It was like her cells were bought and sold, but her body wasn't bought and sold. So I see where she's going with that, but yeah, leave in the comments. Do you think that was a stretch?
It's a wild sort of reality that, Black life was treated this way. What do you hope to gain from this lawsuit? What do you think will be gained?
Well, obviously, Henrietta Lacks' miraculous cells were unprecedented. So we know that this would be a precedent-setting lawsuit, not just for simple justice, not just for social justice, but for genetic justice, Joy Reid, justice that will flow from generation to generation. And when you think about Henrietta Lacks being treated in this just inhumane manner, as if she was a lab rat, which was very common at the time when they did medical experimentation. What it was tantamount to was medical racism. But through all that evil, we have this miraculous discovery of this Black woman who cells have become the cornerstone of modern medicine. And every pharmaceutical corporation in the world has made billions and billions of dollars, yet her family has not made one red cent.
I want the family to win, but I hope you don't go into argument saying that she was used as a medical lab rat like her body, because I just think that's a bad argument, because it's not really her body, it was her cells. Like, they didn't mutate her body, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like back in slavery when they didn't use no anesthesia to figure out the ways of operating and working on people from slaves. They're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? They used her cells. They took her cells, yes, but they didn't, I just hope he don't use that argument. I don't know how it's going to go, but I just think that that's a bad argument the way he's presenting it.
And what we're saying in this lawsuit, they have the right to define her legacy, to benefit from her legacy, and to pass her legacy on to their generations of children yet unborn, because her life mattered.
There's a feeling almost like this is sort of another way that slavery operated, right, Mr. Lacks, that your grandmother, while human, was just seen as, Ben Crump said, as a product that could just be bought and sold, and that her family was owed nothing. It's shocking.
I can see that, right? I can see that her cells was being used, and after that, the family didn't get anything. But at the same time, she's like, I see where they're going with it, but it's like, can you really take it there? Like, can you take it there for slavery? I can see that as discriminate. I can see it's hard to take it to where it's slavery. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to take it there because she didn't go to this hospital against her will and they figured out she had something. She went there on her will to get treated for something. You know what I'm saying? So I see where they're going with it, but at the same time too, I do see stretches. Like they stretching some stuff.
To me, that Johns Hopkins, was there any communication at the time with your grandmother to say to her, you know, you have miraculous cells or something miraculous about you? Would you be interested in any way in joining? I mean, I don't know. I know Black people weren't even treated in most hospitals. Did her doctors communicate with her at all, what they were doing?
Not at all. Matter of fact, my grandfather told the story of so many doctors coming into her room was strange to them, period. You know, that she was getting so much attention. A Black person didn't get that much attention back then. So they knew something was wrong then, but never explained why.
It's shocking. And so just for those who are watching, this is the HeLa cell. They literally named it after her. So they were like hiding in plain sight.
Oh, that's foul. How you gonna call it the HeLa cell? Like you take the first two letters of her first name and the first two letters of her last name, then name it. Like that's foul. That's foul. And earlier I was kind of smiling because he got that Baltimore accent. He's like, he knew, you know, they always say like whatever, like something with the ooh, like to, flew. They always like stretch out the ooh part, like he knew. You know what I'm saying? That I always find that funny when I hear a Baltimore accent.
It's called the HeLa, which stands for Henrietta Lacks. So the lawsuit, Ben, is asking the court to order Thermo Fisher Scientific to disgorge the full amount of its net profits obtained by commercializing the HeLa cells. Do you have any idea sort of what those profits have been over the years in total?
Well, we don't know, but we know Thermo Fisher alone, this distributor of the cells, reported a profit of $33 billion last year. And that's not to say what Merck Pharmaceutical, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, I mean, it's billions upon billions. And that's when you think about George Floyd this past year and how the corporations all made these pledges to social justice. Well, a lot of them were pharmaceutical companies as well. So if you want to honor that pledge, well, do right finally by Henrietta Lacks.
What? All right. All right. It's a lot to unpack right there. So what happened with George Floyd? A lot of companies now need to speak. You know, a lot of companies made pledges, right? I get that. A lot of people did make pledges. And was this one of the companies that made the pledge to what? Like what did he make the pledge on? Maybe I missed it. Let me run it back a little bit. Maybe he explained what they made the pledge to.
Well, we don't know, but we know Thermo Fisher alone, this distributor of the cells, reported a profit of $33 billion last year. And that's not to say what Merck Pharmaceutical, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, I mean, it's billions upon billions. And that's when you think about George Floyd this past year and how the corporations all made these pledges to social justice. Well, a lot of them were pharmaceutical companies as well. So if you want to honor that pledge, well, do right finally by Henrietta Lacks.
All right. So he said they made a pledge to social justice. All these pharmaceutical companies made a pledge to social justice after the death of George Floyd. So do right by Henrietta Lacks. How does that coincide with each other? Like how? I'm confused by that statement. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really confused by that statement. What does did this specific company make a pledge to George Floyd? And that pledge to George Floyd, was that pledge saying they're gonna pay this family the money they owe? Like people always criticize Ben Crump, and this video right here is very criticizable. You know what I'm saying? Like the stretches that he's putting out there. And I get, Joy Reid, her position and what she's saying. And I get why she's saying it. But at the same time, I just hope Ben Crump is not the lead attorney in this. You know what I'm saying? I just hope he's on the team because this looks crazy. And this family do deserve compensation for what they did to this woman.
By Henrietta, and I'm with Mr. Ron Lacks, Joy. you are the perfect person to talk about this because you've always been an outspoken advocate for Black women to get their recognition, because so often they're disrespected, and never has that been more abundantly clear than with Henrietta Lacks.
Thank
Say
you.
her name.
Amen. Say her name.
They didn't have it on plain sight. They changed the name to Helen Lawson and Helen Lane.
Wow, see, that part is crazy too. I never knew that. I always knew the story about Henrietta Lacks, but I never knew they tried to change the name to avoid the lawsuit. That's messed up.
They tried it. They tried it. And then you wonder why Black people don't trust the medical establishment and why we have to beg and plead with people to get vaccinated. They don't trust the system. These are the reasons that people don't trust it. There is.
So she's an advocate for the shot, right? And she's saying right here, like, this is why Black people don't trust medical. You know what I'm saying? And or government, because the government probably got some cahoots in this as well. So
real reason people don't have trust. Ben Crump, thank you so much for doing what you do. Ron Lacks. Show your book. Show your book. Absolutely. Show your book. There you go. The Untold Story right there. All right. Henrietta Lacks, The Untold Story. Definitely. Y'all pick that up. Ben Crump and Ron Lacks, thank you both very much.
I like that at the end, how he showed his book. Yeah, oh, man, I don't know. My man Ben Crump, man. Those stretches, yo, like, do the trigger words, are the trigger words going to work for, like, a certain amount of time now? Like, all right, you know, you can say George Floyd and social justice and this, that, and third. Like, you think those trigger words are going to work? Especially when we talk about billions. This family probably owed billions, if not maybe trillions of dollars, right? You got to come with your A game. You can't come with the stuff that you do at protests and stuff like that. You got to come with your A game. And I really hope, I really truly hope that this family get compensated. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that he don't come with that type of rhetoric into a courtroom, because if I was a judge or a jury, I think he wouldn't present a case in the way he did right there. Like, for judging from that right there, I don't think he could present a case. But maybe he just did that for TV because he know the trigger words that get people riled up and excited. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that will work in court, because you're not really proving nothing, right? You're not proving nothing. You have to prove why this company owed his family. You just can't use trigger words like George Floyd and these companies made a pledge to social justice, so y'all should pay up. That's not gonna work in court. Let's be real. It's not gonna work in court. All right, man. That's the Henrietta Lacks story, man. Leave in the comments. Did you know about this story? Because a lot of people don't know about this story. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know about it. I know about it, but now I've seen that they are seeking compensation, which I think is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people didn't know about the story, and I just hope that this family get compensated. But that is that, man. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your time. Leave some in the comments. All right, man. Till next time. Peace.